for staying. We promise we're only going to be here till about 4. No, I'm just kidding. You know, we have never really done one of these in a while, and I wanted to have an opportunity to share with you the people that I feel like if you stayed today, and there are some that are watching online right now, that are very committed to the SouthGate family and our vision and our goals for where we want to go. You know, this church has been here in this community since 1987, and we have continued to work our best to be a light in this community. We have had great times, we've had struggles, we've had ups and downs, we've had all the different things that anybody is going to go through, that you go through in your life, because the church is a body. The church is people. The church is a living organism. And just like your human body goes through stuff, your human body goes through ups and downs and challenges, and we're a human body. We are made of flesh and blood. This is not just buildings. There's no life at Southgate without people. Without you, without your strength, and without your investment and your participation here. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for being with us. Yes? Yeah, go ahead. All right, I guess we're standing on the stage because they can't see on the camera. Okay. All right. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you how much we appreciate you. And in a few minutes, I'm going to come up and share with you some of the things that we learned last year going through the pandemic, what we continue to learn about just how to preach the gospel. You know, a lot of times the message never changes. The message never changes, but methods do. So we have learned a lot going through that. Many things we learned. We spent a weekend with some of our leaders just looking at and evaluating last year where we want to go this next year and continue to move forward as a church. And we spent time just going, okay, what did we learn from 2020? What did we learn about ministry? What do we have to rethink? What things do we have to do outside the box that we never thought we were going to have to do, that forced us to do it? And so, you know, those are really good things. Makes us evaluate life. A lot of positive things came from that. And so I'm going to share that with you. Just a little bit, couple things, not keep you here a long time. We really only want to be here about a half an hour to get you out of here. But just wanted to give you an update. Claire Troth, those of you who don't know Claire Troth, Claire is our CFO here, really. She is the chief financial person here at Southgate. She is committed to overseeing it. She is the church treasurer. So if you want to know, who does all the stuff around here, who puts all the numbers together, who keeps track with it, it's her. And trust me, she runs a tight ship. She really does. And we appreciate her because she keeps all of us as leaders and everybody else with how come I don't have a receipt for that? Or, we got to keep track of all this. She really has a high standard for what she does. We want it to be a high standard. We want you as a church to be able to trust in the leadership here and trust that when you are giving money here, that you can trust that it's not being used for selfish gain. It's being used for what we're trying to do, and that is to expand the kingdom of God on this earth and be here longer than we are. So I just wanted to introduce Claire. She has put together a budget. We're going to be passing out to you now. And she's going to go over that. She's going to go over some of our financial plans for this year. All the amazing ways God took care of us. It's just, what a blessing. Just in the midst of all of this, we paid our bills. We didn't miss a thing. Everybody continued to be employed. It was a huge blessing. And we're so grateful for God's kindness and for us. So I'll turn it over to Claire, and she is going to go over the budget with you, the information you got in your hand, and let you know. All right, there you go, Claire.
Well, welcome. Thank you all so much for staying and being interested. And I just appreciate all of you who, count Southgate as your church home, and that you're so faithful in your giving and participation, and it means a lot. And so I just want to be open and transparent with you guys. I took over the finances a few years ago, and it took me a while to get everything, church and school. I've been doing the church finances since about 2005, but I didn't take over the church until about 3 years ago, maybe. So anyway, first, I do want to explain that to you. The school is a ministry of the church. The school owns nothing. The school is 100% under the covering of the church. However, the finances are separate. So the school operates on a dollar in, dollar out. The tuition we pay covers our costs. And then the school helps the church in that we pay towards the utilities, and we pay all the cleaning. And, if something breaks down, we look at the budgets and go, who has the money right now, the church or the school? So we share alike, and determine that. So just so you know, your tithes and offerings aren't going to pay for the school's day-to-day budget. Okay, that is something that the school really operates independently on, but we don't own anything as the school. All right, so what you have in front of you, the first column you're going to see is income and expenses. It continues on the back. And you're going to see just really what we budget for. We budget for what we hope to get in tithes and offerings, but do we know we're going to get that? No, because unlike any other organization, we don't know where our income's coming from. It's from the kindness of the people who attend here. So we guesstimate based on the year before, and then guesstimated on what was still out there for the building funds, and then the $21,600 that the school puts in towards utilities. So you'll see that proposed budget number last year, and this is all from 2020, was $486,600. What we actually got in is the numbers right next to that. So benevolence, I just want to point out that we had so many kind and wonderful gifts this year that were given towards benevolence, and we had a lot of people who really needed help, including Pastor Arnie. And so you can see right there that we received in $23,000 and went out immediately $21,000. So what you see as the actual number in there is the net number that we carried into 2021 in our benevolence fund. All right, and then building funds, youth group designations. We have some faithful people who give to the youth on a regular basis. Thank you so much. And that just allows them to do some additional things like help with scholarships for camps or other things that come up. But this year we didn't get to do any of that. So the money is still sitting there, which is great. We also had a miscellaneous designated. We got a $10,000 gift for church maintenance, which is great because we spent so much of our energy and financial everything to get the building up out here, the Hack building, that our maintenance slid a bit on some of our other buildings and things. So we really have some things we need to do, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So that's money coming into 2021 to help with maintenance. Let's see, yeah, we charge a tiny bit of money for when we do a wedding or if we're renting out our soccer field or something like that. So I'm hoping to see that increase. And then interest income is strictly money that's we've made from the bank. And that EIDL grant that you see, I applied for that early on in like February. It was the disaster relief that we got, the economic disaster relief from COVID, and it was a grant, 100% a grant that they would just give us $10,000. Now, not knowing where we were, what was going to be happening, we knew we were closing down, we weren't going to be able to have church services. I applied for that and we got that. So that was able to add to our bottom dollar there. Expenses, I'm not going to go over those, super nitpicky, but please feel free to look at them and ask any questions that you have. I tried to make some notations on things like the utilities for the phone and internet. We spent more than we had anticipated, but it's because with all of our students going online at the end of last year and some staying on, we had to do some major increase in our bandwidth and doing some things to really make sure our Wi-Fi was working everywhere. And it was a real challenge, but we got it going. And then water was more expensive than we thought. We had such a hot, dry summer. Anyway, take a look at any of those, and if you have any questions, let me know. But what we had proposed at the bottom of the second page, you'll see that when we proposed our budget, we were like $6,000 short, which that's normal. The board goes ahead and approves it, and then we wouldn't spend money if we didn't get it, obviously. So, but what we ended up at the end of this year was $22,000 in the black, which is awesome. So I'm going to explain down at the bottom, it says PPP loan, and I already explained to you about the school finances. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the PPP loan that came out from the federal government. That was a payroll protection program. So we applied for that because we have 23 people on staff at the school, and we didn't know, are our parents going to continue to pay tuition? How many of them were out of work? How many, it was such a huge question of what was going to be happening. So the government allowed 501c3s, which is a nonprofit, which we are, to apply for a payroll protection loan. We applied for that through our bank. We received it. And so we were so blessed to be able to continue all of our payroll. You could also use that money for mortgage or for utilities. So it was a huge blessing. It really helped us out, and people still remained very faithful, really. Yeah. So that's my report. I would say if you have any questions, you can always find me and ask me questions, or you can email. Yeah, okay, so let me tell you about our plans for next year. So whenever we get ready to do our budget in early December, I always try to ask the leadership, please tell me what you plan on spending. What do we need to do? Pastor John, what's falling apart that we need to fix? So he's been telling me for 2 years, our roofs need to be replaced. We have leaks and issues in this building and in the church offices. So that's the first thing we're going to do is you'll start seeing that happening. Roofs being replaced for these 2 buildings. That's about a $30,000 cost. It's expensive. The other thing we are bound and determined to do, and that's that $10,000 that came in, we're going to use it to put in a sprinkler system. So our darling Pastor John doesn't kill himself with all that hard work. So it's been really important to Mr. A and myself that we just make sure and get that off of his plate. So that's high priority for us to do this year. That's $10,000 to $15,000 for that. Something else that was a high priority for us was our alarm system. When we built the youth building and the hack building, they don't have security alarms yet. They need them. The church has been broken into 2 or 3 times in the last few months. You might have remembered that somebody broke into the little hospitality shack right there. It used to be our lunchbox. They broke that window. Luckily, we had already taken most everything out of it. They didn't want any of the stuff that was in there. But they broke into the church office. There's just other things. And so we have security alarms, but we were having issues with them, and we needed to have them updated. So we now have a new alarm company that is monitoring everything, and we will continue to update those things. We're going to get security in the youth building probably as soon as 2 weeks, and then we'll work on getting it into the big hack building down there as well. So alarms was a big thing too. For next summer, or this coming summer, starting in June, we have plans to, the small children's church, the 3 to 5 age group, is in a teeny tiny little room right now. They really need a bigger room. And so we're going to take that hallway where the children's church meets, and we're going to reconfigure those rooms on either side of that hall so that our school and the children's ministry have their own rooms And that children's ministry for 3 to 5 is much bigger, and then we'll still have decent sized room for our pre-K3, pre-K4, and kindergarten. We also have been wanting to remodel the kitchen forever. Those cabinets were put in 1987 when we built this place. They're horrible. The whole kitchen is horrible, but...
That's why the door gets closed on Sunday.
Yeah, it's really bad. So we're really looking to remodel that. We're also going to take the front area when you walk into the E building. My old office is there. We're going to knock down that wall and expand that area. We also want to go out where the hospitality shack is, and we want to build onto it so that in the front would be like a little bit of a welcome center, and then 2 possibly family-style bathrooms where the adults from the sanctuary could go and have their own restrooms so they don't have to go into the E building where the children are. And then we can really focus on those restrooms being for that nursery age through kindergarten, because that's what's going to stay focused in that building. Did I forget anything? We want to upgrade the first out building that we have out here, C. It needs new carpet, and it needs new doors. So it needs some things out there to really fix up that building. That's on the summer list, hopefully, as well. Okay?
Thank you, Claire. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Again, if you have any questions about anything, please talk to her. We don't hide anything here. We just don't want to blow your mind with every kind of detail that we sit around in a board meeting looking at. But if you have questions, if you are that detail-y engineer that's sitting out here and wants all the details of everything, you are sure welcome to talk to Claire about that. We don't want to overload you with stuff. You have something else? No, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, my husband and I have been here for a long time. 1979, we started coming when it was we were just meeting in a home, having Bible studies. So anyway, our heart, and I'm sure I'm going to talk to some of you too, is that this place would be 100% free and clear for all the rest of, our descendants.
Families.
And so we want this place to stay for a long time. Right now, our mortgage is about $1.7 million, and I am going to start giving directly to the principal on our mortgage. If anyone wants to join me, feel free.
Yep. Yeah, so if you are, we just encourage you. If you're a consistent tither, 10% of your income is what we believe the Bible tells us to do, and you feel like you've been blessed and you can give more and you want to put that into a designated area, we want to bring the principal down. One of the unique things is that a lot of people here don't realize is that for the longest time here, our mortgage and what we paid here was very minimal. It was very, very minimal, which put us in a really good situation to save almost $700,000-800,000 we had sitting in the bank because of that. So we took that huge chunk of money, of cash that we had 2 years ago and started this building. Which you have to understand, if you've not been here for a long time, this is a vision come true beyond your imagination. Because this is not a church that is filled with multimillionaires. This is a church filled with wonderful, hardworking people who are committed, but don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around. We've done campaigns and people have committed what they could, and God provided outside sources for us to be able to do this. So when you think about, we have, 7 acres here and all of these buildings here, the value of this property now with what we have added is ridiculous. So, what our debt to income ratio and what we own here, our assets now on this property has greatly increased since the 30 years that we have been here by adding this stuff here. And we got blessed when we decided to build that building out there. All of a sudden, another member of the church said, well, I'm building the youth building. And they paid for it cash. built that whole thing. It didn't cost the church a thing while we were committed to doing all of this. So we put a whole bunch of stuff on hold for a couple of years while we were doing this, and now we're getting back into it, getting the roofs done, and just a lot of upgrades that need to happen. A couple things I wanted to share with you about what we learned in 2020. How many of you would agree that you learned something in 2020? And we definitely learned a lot. We've learned a lot in 2020. We have a lot of challenges that are going on in our country right now. And one thing that we learned in all of this is how we need to forgive. We need to forgive each other for our human weaknesses. We, as old as we are, some of us in Christ, and as long as we have been serving God, we still know we have room for improvement. We have room for improvement, and pressure and challenge brings out the best in us, and it brings out the worst in us. So we learned a lot of things about ourselves. We learned how we responded in a situation of crisis and how we can improve that. How as a church we can improve our crisis objectives. We haven't had to experience that. There are other countries around the world that experience persecution. They experience tragedy. They're used to, well, that building's gone, let's go find something else. They're used to that. We are not used to uncomfortableness here in our country. We like to be comfortable. So we learned that 2020 is terrible. No matter what happened, we learned how to adjust in our uncomfortness of what's going on. We had to grow. Here at a church, we had to rearrange how we did ministry and keep our vision to make disciples. It didn't stop us making disciples. Can't stop the kingdom. So we had to continue to figure out how to do it. We had a wonderful small group program that was going on because we believe this church isn't just a church that does small groups. We're a small group church. That's how we grow. Well, we had, before we hit the pandemic, we had 75% of the people of this church attended a small group. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's super good. That at one time during the year, we had 75% of the people attending a small group. And we do things in small groups no other churches are able to do. We checked it out, and it's just really awesome what we have been able to accomplish, and that's because of you. So all of that went on hold. I mean, it immediately just done. It just put a kibosh on all of that. We did some online things, and so it's been a very unique time of just trying to regroup. But we still realize that our vision for what we want to do of making disciples, being a light in this community, is still alive and well. It didn't stop that one bit. It didn't stop that one bit. Our goal to love God, to serve one another, connect one another, and to reach the world is still, and to serve the world is still there. So we just learned that we had to find different ways to connect to people, to stay connected to people. One of the things that if you noticed, which was amazing, when the pandemic hit, our online presence, we were what was awesome is right before that hit, we had already made plans to change the way we were going to do our online presence and improve it because we just didn't like it. We didn't like what we were showing. We were doing the best that we could. And Ryan and I had conversations about 2 weeks before this happened, and we were already online. So what the positive is here. We already did giving online. We already pushed people. We didn't take up offerings in our churches. Do you know how many churches almost closed their doors because they couldn't have church? They had no online giving. They were constantly used to taking up offerings. Our church has not taken up an offering in years. In years. We have a box back there and we teach people how to give online. So when this hit, you know what our finances did? Nothing. It just kept going right on. Because we weren't waiting to take up an offering on a Sunday morning. People still would mail in their stuff. So we were already, 10 years ago, we made that shift, and it enabled us to be able to be mobile, which was a God thing. We didn't know 10 years ago that we were going to hit something like this, but it did, and because we had our online presence, and right as soon as that happened, Ryan, God bless him. Raise your hand back there, Ryan. Ryan, Ryan, when that hit, it literally took 1 week, and we were up with multiple cameras all over this place. Our online presence just skyrocketed. We've had up to 600 views online during all of that at one Sunday, and it's just been nuts. But our online presence has continued to grow. We are continually trying to find ways to improve that. But I just wanted to thank Ryan and anybody else that was back there helping him. If you would have come in those services where we were doing our online services and weren't meeting in person, we had cameras and wires running all over this place. It was crazy, but it was super fun, honestly, just to work with these wonderful people and our worship team and their dedication to be here. You guys were super. One of the positive things that happened in the midst of the COVID shutdown, when we couldn't meet together, it enabled us, which we had been wanting to do for a long, long time, it enabled us completely revamp our children's church. We got in there when nobody could be here. There was guys over there would come in here and watch church service and head over and start working on children's church. And we had guys over there all the time working, and we just appreciate those of you who don't know. And then a real weird situation happened. One of the folks in our church lost their job right before all of this happened. Worked there for many, many years, and they go, well, we have the money, we're done. So he lost his job, had a new baby that had just been there, and he lost his job and had all kinds of time and said, I'm coming to work on children's church. And that was Donnie, right back over there. Raise your hand, Donnie. So God took a very negative situation and made something positive out of it. He started his own business through that, and God is just pouring out work to him and blessing him for that. And he's had all different offers. Hey, come work for me. And he's like, nah, kind of like working for me. Kind of like working for God. I can do what I want. And he spent hours over there, and they took care of that. So we sure appreciate it. How many of you ever been over to Children's Church? Isn't it amazing in there? Oh, man, what a... They have to go to an event, so nothing ever stops in my house. I just wanted to encourage you just to keep your ears and eyes open. We are going to continue to implement new things. We're starting up a lot of different growth opportunities for you, for other people. And this is one of the things I wanted to really push, if you can. For all of you that have never gone online to our website, go to our website, browse through it, look at all the different things that are there. And if you have a suggestion, if you see something, you go, well, my friends did this, whatever. I mean, we have no problem. Send those to us. We'll look at them. We're actually going to be working this year with a company to work on marketing. We've never really pushed marketing here. We never have. It's just, people bringing their friends, which is fine. But because we know now there's a lot of people that just don't go to church. They're not coming in the building. We need to reach them. We need to find a way to reach those people, to share the love of Christ with them, because I can tell you right now there are people out there, as we're sitting here, that are hurting and they're trying to figure out what is going on. During the pandemic, there were more suicides in this country than ever before. And the age groups, 16 to 21, 22-year-old, it was ridiculous. Those are people that need help. And we have the answer. We have Jesus. We can help people think bigger, think eternal. So we're working on that. We're going to be working on some of those things, increasing that presence. But this is one of the things I want to encourage you to do. Encourage your friends to watch online. If they won't come, Tell them, hey, you know what? We have online service. Go to our website. Push people to the website. If you have not gone to our YouTube page or our Facebook page, go to those, and when you hit our YouTube, subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Because what that does is anytime we do anything here, it notifies you. It notifies you. So if you just go to our YouTube and go to our website, you scroll down at the bottom, it has our YouTube, has our Facebook. You just click on it. It'll bring up the YouTube, and you can go there, and you can watch all the other messages that are there. All the stuff is there. Really get used to that. Share it with your friends. Share it with your friends. Tell people, just use it as an invite. You wouldn't believe. I had a guy that I know that I've worked with through the Phoenix Bonsai Group, and he's Muslim. He's Islamic. But he and I have become really, really good friends, and I invited him. Well, hey, if you're ever in the area, he lives way up in North Phoenix. He is a very active member of an Islamic church, and but he tells me, he goes, what is your website? He goes, I'm going to go watch you online. I'm going to go watch your services. Yeah, so he has watched me online. And he's like, wow, you guys do a really great job. Calls me up, say, hey, I want to talk to you about, how did you guys build that building? What do you do with your finance stuff there? How does that work? Here's a relationship building because of online. So the message of the gospel is there. So I just want to encourage you, utilize those resources. Help us expand and do ministry in a different way than we have ever done before. So I just wanted to let you guys all know this. I wanted to encourage you. I wanted to thank you all for being such a committed part of SouthGate. We want to be here for as long as the earth exists. We want to continue to grow. We want to continue to reach people in our community. And, the positive is we're not going to be friends of everybody. We're not. We hope, we work hard to try to win people over through love and kindness and the many things that we do, but we're not going to get everybody. But our job is to do our best to be a light and of the uncompromising message of Jesus Christ to this world. And we do that the best that we can. So thank you, Claire, again, for taking care of all of that. And I just wanted to let, a lot of people don't realize that the school and the church operate uniquely different. It is under the church and the leadership of the church. We do the hiring and the firing and salaries. We budget everything. That's what the church board does. So I want to make sure you know that. You may not know. If you're in here and you're a member of our church board, would you please stand up? We just want others to know if you don't know. These are some of our church board members. We also have Nate Sund, who is one of our elders that is here, comes to early service. He is one of our elders. Pastor Scott and Arnie still serve on the board. Those are your financial decisions. And we have Dr. Jim Lane, who now is coming here, but was actually an outside accountability person, I guess you could say, to us, which is Mari's dad and mom and Bruce's in-laws. But he was a pastor for 30 years and ran his own Christian counseling service, and he was one of the guys in the early days that I pulled in to bring accountability to our board so that we had somebody that we were accountable to, because this is an independent church. We don't have outside support. We're not subjected to any denomination. It's all right here. It's you. It's you and God, and these guys are the ones that are people that are sitting on our board and our leadership. That's who I'm accountable to. I don't determine my own salary. I don't just decide we're going to spend all this money. I don't have that authority to do that. I could, because I know where the checks are. But I don't. I don't mess with money. I don't count money. All I want to know is how much, so I know what prayers I need to pray. That's what I need to know. And so they all do. They just wanted you to know that, for some of you that don't know. And the school does not get The church doesn't get government money. What we get is you. It's your giving and your commitment here to Southgate that makes this happen. The school is under the leadership of the church, and no money from the school budget pays salaries of those teachers. Oh, that was anybody in here that's a teacher at our school or involved in the school, stand up. We want to just let everybody know who that is. Yeah, go ahead and stand up, Rob. Some of our teachers here. And my wife teaches 6th grade. And these people's salary comes directly from what comes into the school. It comes into the school. If there's no money, they don't get paid. The church doesn't pay them because we don't have the money to do that. We can't. So but we take care of all the budget. I mean, the buildings, we pay all of all the other stuff and the mortgage and all that, and the school punches in money to help that. But they're a ministry underneath, just like all the other ministries, our youth ministry, our children's church, all of them. It just happens to be its own financial responsibility there. And years ago, we separated it out. It wasn't always like that. But when I became the pastor, I go, well, we're cutting that. That's going to be separated out. So we don't blend resources. Because the reason is we have 75% of the people that come to our school are coming from different places. And we have to show them financial accountability and financial responsibility. And they need to know that the pastor of the church is just not over there spending their money heading to Hawaii or whatever. You know, they need to know what comes in goes out. It's for their school, where their kids attend and what they're doing. And they have done, let me tell you, this school has done a tremendous job of being responsible for that. And those of you who don't know, Rob Arthurs, who is the principal of the school, has done an amazing job through through this pandemic. It has been, our teachers have been on high stress level for almost a year now because of this. I mean, it's just been nuts. But I'll tell you, I love our teachers. They are committed to teach your kids, and the kids that are involved in our school, not one kid slips through the cracks. No one slips through the cracks. And Rob and our teachers have made sure that that was not going to happen with us. We worked hard to upgrade our Wi-Fi and all of our internet stuff here and spent all kinds of resources to make that happen. And I just, what they do, the school, Rob and I meet, and I tell you, I am so happy with Rob and over in the school overseeing that. It is just, God bless him. If you want to pray for somebody here, pray for the teachers and the school here, because we never know from day to day what's going to happen. We never know. And it affects families that pay tuition, and because we don't get, it's not a government school here. We don't want the government in our business. That's why we can keep Jesus Christ the center of it. They've done really well with theirs. I don't need them. We appreciate in Arizona, which we'll talk more about that at a later date, the tax incentives that are available for all of you that we can use for the school, but they're your tax dollars. You're just telling them where you want your tax money to go. So anyway, that's it, and we will keep more information coming your way, but we just wanted to give you where we're at financially so everybody knows and how God has taken care of us. It's just been super wonderful, and all because of you and your heart to give, and so thank you for doing that. God bless you. You all have a wonderful day, and we will see you again.